Well, good morning. We have a whole new adventure for us today. We are doing a piece of the Laurel Highlands Trail in southern PA. We're starting here in Ohio Pile State Park. We'll be heading, I don't know how far I'm going to go today, to be honest. It really depends on how I feel. I still have a long drive to get to my son's house. But this is part of the Potomac Heritage National Trail, so I'll get another national trail under my belt, get another sticker on the back of the truck. This little section's about, I think it's like 75, 77 miles. We're not going to do the whole thing. It would be cool to do a through hike on this, definitely. But I think we may do 10, 12 today, tops. I'll see how I feel. We took my daughter and her partner to a hockey game last night, so we kind of had a late night in Pittsburgh. Unfortunately, the Pens fell to the Islanders. I don't know how that happened, but it's absolutely gorgeous up here. We're in the Appalachian Mountains right here in southern PA. Behind this beautiful roaring mountain river. There's going to be some elevation here. It's just starting off coming out of the parking lot. You've got this nice gradual climb. Filled out the registration card. They asked that all hikers put in a registration card in case there's an emergency. Gave my wife a map, told her where I was going to be. So this is going to be some sketchy cell signal up here, but should be fun. So we're going to go up a little ways, and there's some more information on the trail, so we'll see what's up there. But looks like we're in for a fun afternoon. Morning. It's like 9:30 a.m. here. Going to be a nice, interesting morning on the trail. We'll see what we see. Here we have yellow blazes for the hiking trail, and starting us right up the side of the mountain. So we just got to follow the yellow blazes, and we shouldn't get lost. It looks to be really well marked. There's blazes like every 20 or 30 feet. Hopefully that stays consistent. That's some high quality H2O. Any of you that have been hiking with me know how much I love these mountain rock formations. Yeah, you've got Appalachian Mountains, or I don't know, somebody keep me honest here, but I think they're like 450 million years old. They're like 3 times older than the Rockies. And these huge old limestone rock outcroppings everywhere. I just absolutely love this. It's so fascinating. Maybe I should have been a geologist. Maybe I chose the wrong line of work, because I find the story behind this rock to be absolutely fascinating. You know, how did this giant boulder get here, and how long ago? And if nobody was here, did it make a noise? So anyone who's considering coming and doing the Laurel Highlands hiking trail, so far it's been absolutely gorgeous. We're a little over a mile into it. It is very rocky. You are definitely going to want to make sure you have good quality footwear, something that you're used to. It is just nothing but, you know, what you would expect out of southern PA terrain. You're tripping and slipping all over all of the rocks in the trail. So make sure you've got good support, you've got good traction. This is the first decent mileage I'm going to be putting on my new shoes, so I'll probably do a gear review after a couple of hikes I do this week to go over my new hiking shoes. But so far, this is the terrain. Nothing but rocks. Hate to have to dig around here. Even where there's soil, you probably get 3 or 4 inches down and hit solid stone. So as I'm walking along the trail here, it follows along, I'm gonna pronounce this wrong, the Yugahemi River. I have the hardest time with Pittsburgh rivers. I mean, it's you know, I assume they're old Native American names, I would think, but it just goes right along the ridgeline that the trail runs on, and definitely looks like a wonderful place for some kayaking or canoeing. Where I parked the car is an outfitter that I'll catch the name of it, like Wilderness out, you know, Old Wilderness something outfitters, where you can rent kayaks and canoes and things like that. So it looks like it would be a fun day kayaking trip. It's got some little rough whitewater parts of it, but it doesn't look to be moving too fast. But it's absolutely gorgeous. You can hear it the whole time, with the exception of the freight train that goes by, because of course you're in the mountains, so if you've got a river, you got a freight train. It's really peaceful out here because it's so quiet, except for the annoying guy taking videos. It's very peaceful, very quiet, and you just hear the water rushing in the background. I imagine backpacking overnight where you're trying to sleep next to it, it'll make you want to pee every 20 minutes, but you know, I'm in my 50s, I got to do that anyway. But definitely consider coming back here. I know this park was on Tammy's list of places to go. It definitely seems like it would be fun to throw the kayaks in the truck, get a shuttle service of some sort to get us upriver, and just spend the day paddling. I think it would be absolutely wonderful. Okay, so when I was talking about elevation, this is what I'm talking about. This is a nice, steep, rocking, twisting ascent to the top of the ridgeline. I am sure glad I've spent all that time on the stair climber recently. This is beautiful, but definitely rugged. So, it sucks. Those parts aren't fun. They kind of hurt. Kind of makes you wonder why you do this. But you get to the top and you get to see this. So, I guess it's worth it. Okay, so here is one of those Red River Gorge type situations where if you trip on that route, there's a long way down to the river. So make sure you watch your step carefully. Okay, Noble Rock. I hear thy dub thee cardiac rock because I want to have a heart attack. We're almost to the peak of the first mountain on this segment. Whew. This is definitely worth the trip when you can walk out on these vistas and see this. This is stunning. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna stop and take a break. All right, here's the number 3 mile marker. So I'm gonna go a little bit further, but I'm averaging right around 2.3 to 2.4 miles an hour. So I'm halfway to the end of this segment at the park. So it's gonna be quite a while, and I still have a 5-hour drive to my son's house. So I think I'm gonna say 6 miles is good enough. This is absolutely gorgeous. I absolutely have to come back here. There's all kinds of water. Because I've never hiked this trail before, I wanted to make sure I had enough water in case there wasn't any. So I'm carrying 2 liters of water on me. If I would have known that water was this plentiful, I probably would have only carried 1, and I just would have refilled it with my filter. But there's plenty of water on this trail. There must be a lot of natural springs because you just see those little trickling streams, every mile or so. So we're at the top of the first mountain on this segment. If we go up here a little further, it's gonna drop like a rock into a giant, I don't know, I wouldn't call this a ravine. I mean, this is a valley, and then it goes up to that mountain on the other side, which all the pretty stuff is that way. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and head back. That's gonna make this a 6-mile little trek, and it's been absolutely enjoyable. I have loved this hike. So I love coming out here by myself, and those of you who know me personally know that I am quite extroverted. I'm not the silent type to just sit in a corner. I will talk to anybody. Anybody who knows me will attest that I'll talk to the guy behind me in the line at the grocery store on the his favorite toilet paper that he's getting. I mean, I'll talk about anything. But at the same time, I love coming out here and just having the peace and quiet. And I love being out here by myself. Tammy doesn't always like it. I've already sent her a message on a satellite communicator just checking in because I'm in SOS mode. There is no cell service out here. So as a safety tool, I definitely recommend if you're out in these kinds of trails to get a satellite communicator, a Garmin inReach, a Zoleo, whatever, pick your poison. But it's a little peace of mind that if something happens, I break an ankle, something silly, in my pack, I've got a little emergency life tent and a little emergency bivvy. So I've got some food, even though there was no reason to think that I was going to eat out here. I got a little bit of dehydrated food, and I got my ultralight little camp stove. So if something really, really bad happened and I had to be out here for the entire day or even overnight, I could very safely, keep myself alive until some poor son of a gun has got to come up on the side of this mountain and carry my 240-pound butt off. Definite shout out to search and rescue teams. Oh, that rock just jumped out at me. But if you don't feel comfortable coming out here on these trails by yourself, don't do it. I think my military background kind of gives me a bit of additional confidence because I've been out in much, much worse conditions. But if you don't feel comfortable out here by yourself, there's so many social media groups that you can find people say, hey, I'm going to be at Trail XYZ on this date. Who's interested? And you'll find somebody that'll come out here. For you ladies out there, I know Tammy follows a couple of groups that are specifically for women that want to get out here and be empowered to hike these trails, but do it safely. So if you're a lady and you want to get out into the backcountry, but you don't want to do it by yourself, you just don't feel safe, then get with some of those groups. And in previous videos, you've seen me many times with my wife. She's my by far my favorite hiking buddy. But also I just posted a video of me and my buddy Danny on the adventure trail, and a shout out to you, Danny. You'd like this one. This one will burn the glutes up these mountains. But I'm gonna head back. Might take a few additional photos from some of these vistas and viewpoints, but I figure it'll probably take me about an hour and a half to get back. It'll be a little quicker because I'll be going down the mountain instead of up. So right where my car parked is this little country restaurant and an outfitter, so I'm gonna stop there and grab some lunch and go over to the outfitter and see if I can find me a nice Laurel Highlands sticker for the truck to go with my Potomac Heritage Trail sticker. Before you know it, I'm not going to be able to see out the back window of my truck is all those silly trail stickers. But this has been a wonderful morning. We're right now I'm about an hour and 20 minutes southeast of Pittsburgh. So if you're in the Pittsburgh area, I'm sure you already know of this park. It's absolutely gorgeous. But if you find yourself in that area and you're like, you know what, I want to take a nice little day hike, I definitely can recommend this little Ohiopyle section of the Laurel Highlands. But if I see anything interesting, I'll make sure I take a picture. So a couple of quick comments on the trail conditions. They are really excellent. This trail is very well maintained. Anything that has fallen over the trail, they've been out here with chainsaws and cut it and at least removed a section where the trail itself is. A couple of muddy spots, but it's early spring. This is probably one of the best maintained trails I've ever been on. There was one time I had to step over a branch or a tree, like not even branch, it was a pretty big log. But you can tell it just fell recently, maybe within the last couple of days. So whoever is responsible for trail management out here, they are doing an amazing job. It's absolutely perfect. The trail conditions are rugged because of the kind of trail it is, not because of poor upkeep. If any of you remember my hike up at Allegheny Wildlife Preserve up in Michigan, I spent the entire trail crawling over logs, crawling under logs. There was pretty much no trail maintenance whatsoever on that loop. This is exact opposite. This is just a really great condition, and except for the rocks. You don't get your toes up, you're gonna catch a rock. Tammy and I are used to more roots jumping up and catching you, not all these limestone and sandstone boulders. But once again, trail conditions I couldn't be better. Speaking of which, this is the one log, and you can see it looks like it fell just recently, but this is it, one, in a 3 mile out and back. So kudos to the team that keeps this trail maintained. Great job, thank you. So back down the mountain. So I'm back on the relatively flat section that has all those beautiful rock formations. Yeah, coming down, you know, going up, it lights your butt on fire. Coming down, lights your knees on fire. But I did see a couple of other hikers up at that vista where I took those beautiful views. And there were about 5 or 6 of them up there taking a break. I wasn't sure I'd see anybody out here. But it's good to see that it's even on a Wednesday, it's a popular spot. So I've got about a mile, maybe a little less than a mile to the trailhead. I'm gonna drop my pack, peel off some of these layers. Excuse me, nose itched. Put on a t-shirt, get a sandwich, visit the outfitter, and I sent some pictures to Tammy, and she wants to come back here when things are green, because while it's absolutely beautiful, there's not a whole lot of green. Things are starting to think about getting buds on them, but technically, I believe tomorrow is technically the first day of spring. So everything is still kind of sleeping around here. But I can only imagine in June, this trail is just absolutely stunning with all the foliage. You know, I've seen some squirrels and but not a tremendous amount of wildlife. All right, my marker 1 right here. So I have a mile left. So we'll see you back at the trailhead. So speaking of lack of green, there is one thing that is really green. I have no idea what these are. But there's these plants, and there's these ones over here with the super long leaves. Don't know what they are. If you know, mention it in a comment, because everything else here is still hibernating for the winter, except this handful of green little bushes. Huh, interesting. But there's a bunch of them. There's a whole outcropping here. I thought about taking some video of it when I was coming in, but I was too focused on not breaking my neck on these rocks. And oh, we're coming back to a stream that I took some photos of earlier, but you'll see what I mean when I say there's a tremendous amount of water here. These little mountain streams are just all over. Oh, waterfall for Tammy. And so like I said, I would not have carried 2 liters of water if I would have known that water would have been this plentiful. I just would have used my filter and filled it up. But it's like a little rainforest back there. All right, we're back at the trailhead, all done. Right at about 6 miles. It was absolutely gorgeous. Definitely can't wait to come back here again, once again in the summertime when it's nice and green. But was definitely worth the stop, worth a couple hours out on the trail. So once again, thank you for joining me. For especially those of you who sat through this entire video. This one might be a little longer just because there was so much to see and so much to do. But now, gotta feed this hiking machine. See you next time on the trail.